Lillian returned home from work with a quiet smile on her face. She placed her shoes in the corner of the living room and made her way straight to the bathroom, where she spent almost 40 minutes getting ready. Daniel, who was finishing up dinner, didn't ask about her extended preparation time, but found it sweet. Lately, their relationship had been feeling a bit distant. Routine had crept into their marriage. Still, he thought this dinner might help bring back some of the closeness they had lost. They sat down to eat in silence at first, both too tired to engage much. Between bites, Lillian started talking about things at the office, potential layoffs, internal restructuring, new goals, and a leadership role that might open up. Daniel listened attentively, as he always admired her ambition. Her career had always mattered to her, and he respected that. But as she went on, he started feeling uneasy. She mentioned her boss, Adam, and how he didn't show a clear preference for anyone, but seemed to form closer bonds with certain female employees. At this point, Daniel didn't fully understand where the conversation was going, but he kept quiet. Lillian paused, looked at him seriously, and then said what she had been thinking about for weeks. She told him that she had made a decision, one that might sound insane at first, but one that made sense to her. She said that on Friday after work, she was going to meet Adam at a hotel. He had invited her, and she had agreed. It would be a one-time thing. She assured him there was no emotional involvement, no real consequences. She was doing for both of them, to ensure stability. She was tired of watching her colleagues advance while she stayed stagnant. This promotion, she said, would give her the recognition she deserved. A single night to change everything. Daniel sat in stunned silence. He couldn't respond immediately as he tried to make sense of her words. Was this a test, a provocation, or just an unfortunate confession? There was no joking, no sarcasm, no regret in her face, only conviction, as if she were presenting a logical business decision. He stared at her for a long moment, his chest tightening, his stomach churning, his mind racing to organize the chaos of thoughts that flooded it. His world felt like it was collapsing around him, but Lillian seemed oblivious. Or perhaps she simply didn't care. She said she had thought about this decision long and hard before telling him, and that she valued honesty. She hoped he would understand that it was just sex, no emotional betrayal, just an act with no weight. Daniel didn't say anything immediately. Instead, he picked up his wine glass, swirled the contents, and drank it in one go. Lillian kept her eyes on him, perhaps waiting for an outburst, for some reaction to prove how serious the situation was. But Daniel remained calm. He told her that he understood how important her career was to her, that he respected her ambitions, and then got up from the table. He went to the bedroom, checked his phone, and sat quietly for a while, allowing the weight of her words to sink in. The dinner was left untouched, the smell of the food lingering in the air, but no longer important. Lillian finished her meal and went to the bathroom to remove her makeup, looking calm, almost relieved. She felt as though she had lifted a burden, believing that in time, Daniel would understand and perhaps even forgive her. But Daniel didn't share her peace. He remained in the living room, motionless, his mind replaying every word she had said. He felt the ground beneath him firm, yet everything inside him trembled. Her phrases, "It's just one night," "It's for us," "It's just sex," echoed in his mind like nails driving into his chest. Later, when she was already asleep, Daniel lay in bed, staring at her face. He searched for the woman he had once fallen in love with, the woman with whom he had dreamed of building a life, a family, growing old together. But instead, all he saw was someone who would cross a line without hesitation, someone who had turned trust into a mere exchange of interests. He realized then, in the dark of the bedroom, that everything had changed. Without saying a word, without making promises or threats, Daniel understood that he was now a different man. The next morning, he woke up earlier than usual, made coffee, and left on the table as he always did. His face was calm, unusually so for someone who had just been deeply hurt. He left for work without saying much, as something inside him was taking shape, something far clearer than the anger he could have felt. It was clarity about what he wanted, what he deserved, and what he would no longer accept. Some betrayals don't require loud arguments. They speak for themselves through their sheer absurdity. and Lillian's betrayal screamed loudly, even in complete silence. A few days later, while Lillian was in the shower, Daniel took her bag, which she had left on the bed. He carefully placed a tiny microphone inside the seam of the side pocket, a small, discreet device that would transmit sound directly to an app on his phone. He tested it, confirming that it worked perfectly, before returning the bag to its original place. She had left the bedroom before finishing her shower, giving him a quick kiss goodbye and telling him it would be a busy day. He simply smiled and wished her good luck. At 11:28 a.m., Daniel was listening intently as Lillian was on the phone with a friend, casually chatting about weekend plans, laughing and making light-hearted comments. Her voice was calm. In the background, there were sounds of typing, footsteps, and distant voices. Suddenly, Daniel heard a male voice, Adam, her boss. Daniel immediately recognized it. Adam walked into her office, exuding his usual confidence. "Got a minute?" he asked, and Lillian responded affirmatively, holding the phone to her shoulder to ask her friend to wait a moment. Adam closed the door behind him with a noticeable click, and the tone of the conversation shifted. He pulled up a chair and sat next to her, and the sound of their voices became clearer. Lillian was silent for a moment, likely focused on her work, while Adam broke the silence. "Friday night. Everything's still set, right?" Lillian confirmed, saying the room was already booked. Adam continued, "I hope you're ready to move up. This will be good for both of us. Relax. It's the office. Anyone could overhear," he added with a laugh. Then came muffled sounds, followed by kisses and a sharp increase in Lillian's breathing. She whispered, "Just kisses, nothing else. If anyone hears this, it gets complicated." Adam replied, "Relax. I'm just celebrating early." Daniel could hear more kisses and murmured words, then the sound of a chair being pushed back. The conversation ended with Adam assuring her that the promotion was guaranteed before he walked out. Daniel closed his eyes, controlling his anger. The microphone had caught everything. There were no more doubts. He had proof. Now, his plan was in motion, but it needed some adjustments. He took a deep breath and dialed the number he had found on Lillian's phone a few days earlier. It belonged to Adam's wife. When she answered, her voice was cold and suspicious. "Hello." Daniel introduced himself, explaining who he was, and asked her to listen carefully because what he had to say concerned both her husband and his wife. There was a brief silence on the other end, but she didn't hang up, so he continued. He told her he had noticed strange behavior from his wife and discovered that she was planning an intimate meeting with Adam, so he made sure to install a microphone in her bag. Daniel explained that he had just listened to a conversation between the two at work, confirming their plans for a hotel meeting on Friday night. There was silence on the phone, and then he added, "I have the recording. I can send it to you, but not now. I need you to go there and catch them in the act." Vanessa, Adam's wife, exploded on the line. "In the act?" "Yes. Friday, they're meeting at the Monarch Hotel, room 1407 at 8 p.m. It's already booked under her name. I'll send the details in a text. I'm going, and I'm filming everything. I'll ruin that idiot and that opportunist. Count on me." Daniel quickly sent the location, the audio files, and all the relevant details: time, reservation name, floor, everything. On Friday night, Lillian left the house dressed for what she claimed was an important private executive event. Say it was better for her to go alone. Daniel helped her into the car, complimented her, and wished her a good night with a smile. She didn't notice anything unusual. As soon as she left, he grabbed his phone and activated a live transmission from a hidden microphone. He could hear her arrive at the hotel, speak to the receptionist, and take the elevator up. He listened as she walked down the hallway and heard the door to her room open. Not long after, Adam arrived. His voice was satisfied as he greeted Lillian, commenting that the setting was better than expected. There were more kisses, promises about the night, and talk of her upcoming promotion. Time passed, and soon Daniel heard a loud knock on the door. 3 sharp raps. What they didn't know was that Vanessa had arrived at the Monarch Hotel about 40 minutes earlier. She had checked in and discreetly requested a room on the same floor. She was given room 1406, right next to the room where everything would happen. She locked the door behind her as she prepared to carry out her plan. She turned off the lights, letting her phone charge, and sat on the edge of bed, her heart racing though her eyes remained focused. Every sound from the next room felt sharp like a blade. She could hear footsteps, muffled voices, some laughter. It was only a matter of time. She waited for the moment when they were distracted and least expecting it. Once she sensed that they were confident and off guard, she stood, grabbed her phone, and left the room. She made her way straight to the door across the hall and knocked hard 3 times. It was time to turn the tables. There was silence before Lillian's tense voice asked, "Who is it?" Adam slowly approached, and when he looked at the peephole, Vanessa shouted, "Open the door, Adam. I know you're in there, and I know who's with you." The door opened. Vanessa walked in with her phone, recording everything. Lillian tried to pull the sheet over her, but Adam stood frozen, uncertain whether to run or try to explain. Vanessa yelled, "Is this your ideal promotion?" To Lillian, "This is how you get position? By sleeping with someone else's boss." Lillian tried to speak, but Vanessa cut her off. "You destroyed my marriage, and now you're about to lose yours too," she said, pointing her camera at the room, showing the two of them hiding in their shame before leaving. Vanessa told Adam not to even think about coming home, then slammed the door without another word. By the time she reached the lobby, she had already sent a video directly to the president's email. No edits, no captions, just the raw, humiliating footage. A few minutes later, Daniel received confirmation, a single message from Vanessa. Mission accomplished. He took off his headphones, closed the app, and remained silent. There was nothing more to say. What had started as a cold, calculated plan was now complete. The scandal was out, and he was ready for the next phase. In the days before the hotel meeting, Daniel had been busy. While Lillian slept, while she talked about meetings and fake gatherings, he had already contacted a divorce lawyer, explaining everything in detail and providing the audio recordings and other evidence. He wanted everything ready to move quickly when the moment came. The divorce papers were printed. The finances were organized, and a lawyer was prepared to file as soon as the plan reached its conclusion. He also spoke with the bank manager, set up a new personal account, and separated their assets, ensuring he had full access. All that was left was a perfect moment. Then came Vanessa's message. Mission accomplished. Daniel took a deep breath and sprang into action. He opened the banking app, transferred all the funds from their joint accounts into his new personal one, canceled Lillian's cards, and blocked her access to the system. Then he changed the code on the smart lock at home. The house that had once been shared was now locked down. He prepared an envelope with the divorce papers, signed and ready for delivery, and placed their bags in the garage with clothes, shoes, and essentials. About an hour later, around 11 p.m., Lillian returned. She tried to open the front door, but the keypad rejected her password. She tried again. Nothing. Nervous, she knocked, calling for Daniel. He responded firmly without opening the door. "These are the divorce papers. Your bags are in the garage. Grab them and leave." He slid the envelope under the door, trembling. She opened it and saw the documents, his signature already on them. It hit her then. Everything had been prepared in advance. She tried to justify herself, saying, "Daniel, I did this for us, for our life. It was an opportunity." He replied coldly, "You did it for yourself, and now you reap what you sowed." She stood there for a moment, eyes watering, heart pounding. Then she walked to the garage, grabbed her bags, and headed to her car, unsure where to go. She decided to return to the hotel, hoping Adam might be able to help. When she knocked on the hotel room door, Adam was still there, sitting on the edge of the bed, pale and holding his phone. He opened the door wordlessly. Lillian walked in, trembling. "Did they see the video?" she asked. Adam didn't answer immediately. He just looked at her and said, "The company just called. We're both fired." She sat down on the edge of the bed in silence. Then she asked, "What now? What do we do?" Adam gave a humorless, tired laugh. "There is no we, Lillian. I'll figure out what to do with my life. Well, it's best if you disappear from my sight. You brought nothing but ruin." She begged, "Can I stay here tonight?" Adam was blunt. "No. Leave. She grabbed her bags again and left the hotel with no idea where to go. She called a friend who, out of pity, took her in. Lillian slept on a mattress on the floor, listening to messages from family members criticizing her. News of the scandal spread like wildfire at work. Over time, the scandal became public. Adam lost his marriage as Vanessa filed for divorce, citing adultery and revealing enough details to ensure there would be no chance of reconciliation. Lillian also officially divorced Daniel, but got nothing. Co-workers chatted in messaging groups, and screenshots and videos circulated on internal forums. Neither Adam nor Lillian managed to find new jobs quickly. Adam, once known for his leadership and results, was now synonymous with betrayal. No company wanted to take the risk of hiring him. Lillian, jobless, homeless, and divorced, ended up depending on the kindness of others. As for Daniel, he never looked back. He knew that those who sowed destruction would eventually find themselves reaping exactly what they sowed.